Hi folks, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. What you see in the vise is a kind of mashup between a Ke-Diawl and a dialback. It was sent to me by Billy Scott of Scotland, who has used it to great effect on Lindsay. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise then is a Hanak H230 barbless hook. This one's at size 12. It's on a medium wire and it's in black nickel. The thread I'm going to be using today is the Veevus. It's F01 at 6/0, and as you can see it's a black thread. Now ideally I would have liked an 8/0 thread, but I'm all out of 8/0, so I'm making do with the 6. And all I'm doing initially is running my thread through some wax to get me started. And I'm going to start just slightly back from the eye of the hook, and I want to get approximately 4mm of wraps down. And then once I've got that in place, I'm going to come in with my snips and just remove my tail. Now the tag of this fly, I'm using Glo-Brite No3 as I did with the Ke-Diawl, and what I want to do is take off approximately 12 inches and snap that away. Now I'm going to fold it in half again, and then one more time. Then you can dress up your Glo-Brite No3, and you want to catch that in just where you stopped your wrap. So once you've got it secured, what you want to do is make sure that this tag is coming on top of the shank all the way, nice touch and turns to the back, and you want to take it just beyond the point of the hook. Now the way I measure my tags is I bring my scissors in at the bend of the hook and then just snip away. I don't like big long tags. Now the bit here I can put to the side, and that'll do for the next fly. Now as with dial backs, all I'm using here is a cock cape, and I only use this for dial backs. It's pretty much useless for everything else. Feathers are a bit long, and I've already got a feather out here in my hand. And what I want to do is take approximately a dozen strands, hold out at a 90-degree angle from the stalk and rip away. That should bring your tips nicely into line, and you want it twice the length of your tag, really, your tail. So I'm just going to capture that in at the butt end, and this is the bit where the 8/0 thread would have been better. The 6/0's maybe a little thick, but I'm just trying to make do with what I've got. So I've caught that in. Next I'm going to catch in my wire rib. I'm using some of this stuff. It's from Fish On. The label's gone, but it's 0.14 silver wire. And I've got a little bit taken off here already that I'm going to catch in the entire length of the body. And while I'm doing that, I can tidy up that tailing. Then in open turns, I'm going to come back down to the butt of the fly, and I'm going to use some dyed black Peacock herl, and I'm going to select 2 strands from that. I meant to pick them both up at the same time, didn't quite work out that way. But what I always do with a Peacock herl is grab it at the base here, run my fingers up until I find the weak point in the tip of the herl, and there will be one. That's where it's at its weakest, and just remove that into your wastebasket. Then you can catch in that and bring it up. Now I'm keeping well back for the eye. Just going to come back a turn there, and then I can bring my Peacock herl up. Now, if you've got a rotary vise, you can just hang on to this and turn the rotary vise. Somebody was saying to me the other day, I don't use the rotary function on this vise very much, and that's because many people don't have that function, but it does work, and I will demonstrate that in a second with a rib. So there's my Peacock herl body. I've just secured that in at the head. I'm going to use the rotary function to bring my rib up, and as you can see, it works perfectly well. And when you get used to doing this, actually, it does make your tie-in a lot quicker. But obviously not everybody has the luxury of full rotary, so if you don't, you can just do it by hand. It's a little bit slower, but you'll get the job done. Okay, so I've caught in my rib now, and what I'm going to do, keeping tension on my thread, I'm just going to remove that rib. Now, the way Billy done the jungle cock here was, rather than put it along the sides like you see a lot of eyes, he put it on top and then split the feather. So I'm going to select one of the smaller feathers from the bottom of my jungle cock cape, and I've got one picked out here already. And what I want to do is just remove the guard hairs either side of the eye there. Just want the jungle cock, not all the gumph that comes along with it. And because it's so small, it does take a little bit of patience. But once you've got it in place, you can dress that up on top of the pattern and lock that into place. A couple of turns, then a couple of turns in front. Now I can simply come in with my scissors and remove that piece. Now, the jungle cock eye that I chose, it actually already had a split in it. You might not be able to see it on the camera there, but it does have a little split. Now I'm going to encourage that split with my dubbing needle, and it didn't need much, just to split it. I'm not going to pull it down to the sides. I take it it's representing wing buds that are just splitting for the wings to come through, and that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to bring my vise inverted now and grab a few more fibres from my cock hackle. Again, out at a 90-degree angle, pull away, brings the tips into line, and then I go for the length of the body with mine. You can probably extend it if you wanted, shorten it if you like, but I find this works well for me. It gives a nice symmetry to the fly. So a couple of turns, then I like to get a couple of turns in front of the material. Then again, I can come in, excuse my fingers, while I remove the waste. Bring the vise back round the right way. Grab your whip finish tool. And finish the fly. Now with the A-taut, I'd have had a much neater head. It's a bit of a bulky head, and what I'll do is come in after and just varnish off the head, and that's the fly complete, or UV resin as I like to use. Again, thanks very much to Billy Scott for sending me the picture of the pattern. I've tied several now in 12s and 10s, and I'm sure they'll serve a treat at the back end at Rutland in September. Thanks very much for watching. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.